All right, guys. I'm gonna do my best to take this up. It's lunchtime here at Beale. I might have to pause this a couple times, so it's a little bit loud. Okay. So what's going on here? The first review, Unit 1 test, MP1 MDE review. So just this is kind of a neat thing to do. First of all, your exam will look a little bit, or sorry, your test will look a little bit like this. Your first test, the type, the font, the setup, that sort of thing. I believe your test is 4 pages long, but the first page is the instruction page, so it's 3 pages long of actual work. Same size font as this sort of thing, maybe a little bit more spaced out. I would say that there are a little bit more communication slash word problems than what we're going to find here. But let's go through it and see what happens. Let's take this up. So we're going to change this fraction to a decimal. So as a decimal, what you can just do is throw this in a calculator and divide 0.3. 0.30 might make your life easier because when you change to percent, you're going to move this over 1, 2, and change it to 30%. Okay. Working backwards here, we get 0.16. So divide that by 100 or move the decimal over to the left twice, and you get 0.16. That's 16 over 100, but as a fraction, but it says lowest terms, so you want to get this lowest terms. It's even, the top and the bottom are even, so we can just divide by 2. If you notice that you can divide by 4 off the bat, good for you. Let's see what would happen if not. You end up with 8 over 50. Still, both are even. Divide these by 2, and you end up with 4 over 25. 4, only factors of 4 are 1, 4, and 2. None of those go into 25, so we know that our final answer is 4 over 25. Now you can just give me this answer here. Each of these will be worth 1 mark. Okay, you don't have to show your work for that one. Here, express this as a ratio in lowest terms. Just be careful here. This is the classic trick. 2 kilometers to 300 meters. Okay, so that's 2,000 meters. Okay, 2 kilometers times that by 1,000 because there's 1,000 meters in a kilometer. 2,000 meters to 300 meters. So think of this as a fraction, okay, as a ratio. We have, if you had 2,000 to 300 as a fraction, something like this, 2,000 over 300. Well, the first thing you can do is just divide by 10, divide by 100, chop the zeros off, and you end up with 20 to 3. 3 is a prime number. Only factors are 3 and 3 and 1, and neither of those go into 20, so we know we're done. Explain the exponent laws. So you don't really have to explain the exponent laws. Well, go over them, okay? So talk about how 3 squared times 3 to the power of 1. What you're going to do here is when you multiply, you add the exponents. Okay, 2 plus 1 is 3, that sort of thing. And then when you divide, if you had a division question, something like this, you would subtract the exponents. Okay, and that's all. That's all I'd want for that. Okay, express the following in power form. So your base is 9, and how many 9s do we have? We have 3 of them. Express this in power form. You have -3, and how many -3s do you have? Well, you have -3 squared, so that's -3 to the power of 4. Okay, so a little bit tricky. I'm not sure I'd ask you something exactly like this on the exam, or on the, I keep saying exam, on the test, but -3 squared is your base, so -3 squared is squared, and then because it's a power of a power, you're going to multiply those two. 27 has a base of 3, so that's 3 to the blank equals 27. And there's a bunch of different ways you can do this. The best way is with logarithms, which is kind of neat, but we don't really get into that until grade 11, and even that is beyond the actual expectation. So what you're asking yourself is 3 to the what is 27. This is a muscle out question if you ask me. You just go through it and you go, is it 3 to the 1? No, it's not. Is it 3 squared? No, it's not. Is it 3 cubed? 3 times 3 times 3? Yes, it is. Okay, 27. So that's that. I'll be right back. All right, back at it. So let's keep going. Evaluate here. What is 4 squared? Well, 4 times 4, so that's 4 times 4, and that's 16. What's the negative of 3 cubed? So you've probably seen this a few times now. The negative of 3 cubed, so that is 3 cubed, is 3 times 3, which is 9 times 3, which is 27, but I want the negative, okay? No bracket means the whole answer has to be negative. If there is a bracket in front, in this case, it turns out to be the same. Okay, so if I had this sort of thing, that's -3 times -3 times -3. So the size of the answer is 3 times 3 times 3, which is 27, and the sign is minus times a minus, which is a plus, times a minus, which is a negative. So in this case, they're both the same, but just be careful that you know the difference of the two. Now we're going to add or subtract integers, and then we're going to multiply or divide them. So here, whenever we do a question like this, I'm going to make this is going to be a little bit ugly. I'll change to red here. I have a plus and a minus, that turns into a negative. Okay, plus and a minus is a minus. So plus 1 subtract 12, just think of temperature, is minus 11. This one here, I don't know if you think about temperature here. Hopefully it doesn't get this hot ever. Maybe in the States, not because it's hotter, but because they use Fahrenheit. Minus and a minus, put them together, you get a plus. 51 plus 15, good old 66. Now, anytime there are two signs together, just deal with them. Okay, make them one sign. That's how I do it. So I have minus 2. Minus and a minus is a plus. Plus and a minus is a minus. Now do the math. Minus 2 plus 3, I get to 1. Subtract 11, I'm at minus. Sorry, that's my answer. Sometimes I get excited. Subtract 12, I get minus 11. Minus times a minus. When you multiply or divide, you look at the overall sign. If you have two negatives, that makes a positive, and then just do the numbers. Okay. Worry about the signs again. We have a negative, and then we multiply to get 6. Minus 55, same with division. What's my sign? One negative gives me a negative, and then 55 divided by 11 is 5. Here, I have two negatives. That means my answer is going to be positive, and that is 4. That's it for page 1. Let's see if page 2 is over here where it should be. And it is. Scott and Bill have a coin ratio of 2 to 11. If the total coins are 39, how many does Bill have? Well, the easiest way to do is this, okay? And this is a little bit beyond what we're doing right now, but if I have 39 coins in total, okay, and I want to figure out how much Bill has and Scott has, now you can probably figure this out in your head, but think about this. Together they have a ratio of 2 to 11. So let's say there were 13 coins lying around. Scott would have 2, Bill would have 11, okay? So in general, if there are 13 coins, then there's your ratio. Well, let's think about how many groups of 13 are in this total of 39, and it'll always be a whole number. So how many groups of 13 are in this 39? Well, you go 39 divided by 13 is equal to 3. So each of these guys now, they have 3 times what this 2 and 11 was, okay? Because I'm 3 times as big, so it'll be 2 times 3 is 6, and that's how many Scott has. And 11 times 3 is 33, and that's how much Bill has. Okay, that's a 3. So let's look at this 33 to 6. If 39 coins in general, and does that work? Well, they are 39 coins. And give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. I just had a little interruption. So let's move on to 7. Hopefully 6 made sense. 7, if a price is 20 bucks and it's 30% off, then what's the discount? So 20 times, and when we do a percent, almost always you're going to multiply. So 20 times 30%. If you want to do it this way, that's 20 times 30 over 100. And you figure that is $6. Okay, so $6. Just please, dollar sign in the front. 6. You don't need cents, but you could write it like that. So there's 6. If there's tax, final selling price after tax, how do we get that? Well, if it's $6 off, well, there's 2 ways to figure out what the price is. One is to say if it's 30% off, then it's 70% on. I guess that's one way to put it. So it's $14 is the price. Another way is to say if it costs 20 bucks and it's $6 off, then it's $14. So you'll take this and you multiply this now. Now be careful because it's 13%. You multiply by 13% to find out the tax amount. Or if you want, you can multiply it right away by 1.13, which is 113%. And when you do that, what you're saying is give me the 100%, which is the total amount, and add to it 13%, but do it one step. So throw that in the calculator and you'll get an answer. Okay, right, this is really easy. If I go plus, I'm moving to the left, so that's minus 11, and then plus 4. Okay, really simple stuff here. I'm almost ashamed to ask you this. He gained 5 points 2 times, so 5 points. How many times did he do it? 2, so 5 times 2, that sort of thing. The last thing I want to do is write the following as a simple, no, not the last thing. I want to write this as a single power. This is a tough question. Okay, so you can look at this if you want to. I'm not going to ask you a question like this on the test, but if we did it like this, I have 4 to the 5th, which is the same as 2 to the 10. This is really hard for you guys. So 4 to the 5th is the same. So one way to look at it is 4 to the 5th is like this. Another way is to say 16 squared is the same as 4 squared squared, which is 4 to the 4. Okay, so what you say is 4 squared is equal to 16. So when you do that, you can rewrite this as 4 squared, which is the same base as what you have in the denominator here. And 4 squared squared is what I have here. So it's 4 squared replaces the 16, and this squared is still there. And when you have a power of a power, you're going to add those together. So you have 4 to the 4. So in the long run, you have 4 to the 5th over 4 to the 4. It's a division question. So you'll subtract the exponent value, and you'll get 4 to the 1, which is just 0.04. Okay. Here, last step here, you want to solve for unknown. I'm gonna do B first because it's easier. You want n by itself and on top. So there's two types of questions, one where n is on the bottom, one where n is on top. If it's on top, very simple, just take the 7 and bring it across here, okay? Or what you're doing is you're multiplying each side by 7, multiply this by 7, multiply this by 7, cancel out 7 over 7, and you're left with 21 over 21, which is 3 times 7 over 21, which is plain old 1. And is that right? Well, then look at this. Is 1/7 equal to 3/21? Sure it is, okay? There's 1/7, triple it, you get the top and you get the bottom. This one here, you might be able to do in your head, but this one's a little bit more difficult because n is on the bottom. So what I like to do is I like to say bring the n on top across and then swap it out with the 3 across, multiply, and then bring the 24 across. So the n ends up on the top left. The 2 is where it was. The 24 is on the bottom on the left side. When it comes across, it goes to the top. And the 3 is on the top on this side. When it comes across, it goes to the bottom. Okay, so you look at this and you can write this in lowest terms. You can figure this out any way you want, but 24 divided by 3 is 8. So then I have 2 times 8, which is 16. So my answer is n is equal to 16, and I just want to make sure that's right. Okay, all these in lowest terms are 1/8. Okay, so divide that by 3, divide that by 3, and divide that by 2, divide that by 2, and you get that. Oh, anyway, we'll end with that fun stuff. You should be great for the exam if you can do that. A couple other word problems that make you think a little bit, but not think too much. I will give you a hint. What would happen if we go back to hold on, let's see if I get this to work. What would happen here if I added this in? Okay, see if you can figure this one out. Okay, let's say I had Scott, Bill, and Nancy. We're going to throw Nancy in. What would happen if their ratio now, instead of 2 to 11, was 2 to 10 to 1? Okay, and the same situation in 39 total coins. How many coins does Bill have then? Okay, let's look at that. And what you're going to do here is same thing. Add these up. You're 13, 39 total. Everything times 3, times 3, times 3, times 3. So which guy was Bill? Bill was this guy. Bill now has 30 coins. Okay, which is not what the answer was before, okay? Because the answer was 33 and the whole thing got shifted down. That's why I got confused. There's your answer from before. Okay, so good luck. Send me an email if you're confused. Take care.